Hello friends, this is Nirmal here for Technique, and today we're going to review the Samsung Galaxy On 5. So Samsung Galaxy On 5 is a new budget smartphone now released by the company under the new series, the On series. We already have the On 5 and the On 7. So the On 5 is a cheaper variant which is priced 8,999 and it comes with moderate specs. It has a 5-inch HD display. It's a TFT LCD panel. Unlike the IPS LCD panel, this is powered by an Exynos quad-core chipset with 1.5GB RAM. There is also an 8-megapixel rear camera, LED flash, front-facing 5-megapixel camera. It runs on a 1.5GB RAM and there is an 8GB internal storage which is expandable. It has Android 5.1.1 Lollipop along with a custom TouchWiz UI. There's also a 2600 mAh battery on this device. Now let's see if this device is really value for money and how good the performance and other aspects about the device is. So first step, let's see the design and build quality of the Samsung Galaxy On 5. So Samsung has retained the same design language as that of any other Samsung budget smartphone. You can see there are lots of similarities with the J series and the Grand series. So nothing's changed here. You can see the physical home button, two capacitive buttons which are not backlit. We have the volume keys on the left side, the power button is on the right side, the 3.5mm audio jack and the micro USB charging slot are located at the bottom, and overall it's a fairly decent looking design. But if you're not really into Samsung phone, you might find this design a bit awkward when comparing with the competition, and the build quality looks just moderate. You can see there is a chrome finishing around the device and the gold variant looks decent. You can see this has this fox leather kind of finish which was first found under Note 3. So in the finishing, we would say Samsung Galaxy On 5 looks decent, but the design has been now pretty much old, and Samsung isn't refreshing this series with the budget series with new design. It's now kind of outdated design. But overall, since it's a 5-inch device, it does give a pretty good feel in the hand. It's not slippery and it does hold in hand pretty well, and it's not even a lot thicker as well. So all in all, the usability aspect, the device is a pretty decent one. Now talking about the display, this is one of the disappointing aspects about this device. It has this 5-inch HD display, that's it, 720p display, and the competition also offers 720p display. But the disappointing aspect is that it comes with a TFT LCD panel, and Samsung has not included an AMOLED display, the Super AMOLED found on most of the Samsung phones, including the J2, which is again a budget smartphone. So that's one disappointing aspect. Apart from that, the display also does not have any additional protection. There's no Corning Gorilla Glass or added protection on the display, and you need to use a screen protector. So the display does not have really great colors and the viewing angles are just average. The touch response again is not as smooth as what you see on J2. So all in all, the display kind of disappointing, and there is no ambient light sensor as well. So we have this outdoor mode. You need to switch on this outdoor mode every time you go outside, otherwise the display will be not really bright. So all in all, the display is one of the disappointing aspects. Samsung should have ideally included a Super AMOLED or an IPS LCD panel. The TFT panel looks kind of dull and not really that great in terms of the overall performance. Now moving on to the software and performance. So this phone runs Android 5.1.1 Lollipop, so that's something good from the company. It's almost running the latest software in the budget category, although Android 6.0 has been already announced. But considering that this is a budget smartphone, 5.1.1 is a pretty decent software, and this has this custom TouchWiz UI. So there is a UI from Samsung, and surprisingly there are no bloatwares included. It's a plain and simple UI with some basic apps from Samsung like S Planner. We have a few other apps like tools called Memo, My Files, which is a file manager. There is a voice recorder, there is Smart Manager. So some basic apps are included, which is pretty good. There is also support for radio, there is also video player. The only two apps installed on this device are the Mix Radio and Opera Max, which allows you to save data. The UI is pretty simple and straightforward and is a performing UI as well. So you can see the notification center, very similar to any of the Samsung phone. We have this customization option and also decent amount of features included. But again, the disappointing aspect is the lack of ambient light sensor in this price point. Now talking about the performance, the Samsung Galaxy On 5 runs on a quad-core chipset from Exynos, that is Samsung's own chipset, which is coupled with a 1.5 gigabyte RAM. Now considering that this is a quad-core chipset with a decent amount of RAM, the performance is decent on a moderate usage. But with heavy usage like running heavy graphic-rich games and heavy multitasking, we found the processor to be struggling and the performance was not really that great. But for a moderate usage, this is definitely decent performance. The gaming experience again was not really that great. You could see frame skips and lag, not the best experience in gaming. Coupled with the TFT LCD panel, it's not really that gaming experience. The phone comes with 4G LTE support and also dual SIM card support, so that's something good on this device. So the call quality on the device was pretty good all around, and there was no issues with the voice calls. The speaker performance was again just not really that great. It was just average sound quality, and the speakers are located on the rear panel. Now the phone also has 8GB internal storage, which is expandable, but there is no support for installing apps directly onto the SD card. So you can move apps to the SD card, but you cannot install directly onto the SD card. Now there is also a smart manager included, which allows you to get better out of your device. We have the battery manager, the storage, RAM optimizer, device security, and also the ultra data saving mode. This is something very useful. Once you have inserted the SIM card, you can get ultra data saving using this mode. So that was the software and performance side. So all in all, software is pretty decent software for a budget smartphone. The performance is again average, not really suited for heavy gaming and multitasking, but can perform decently on moderate usage. Now let's move on to the camera aspect. So this phone comes with an 8 megapixel shooter and 5 megapixel front facing camera. While we know that most of the smartphones in this price point offer 13 megapixel rear cameras, Samsung has gone with an 8 megapixel sensor with LED flash. But surprisingly, the camera on the Samsung Galaxy On 7 performed pretty well. So you can see there are good amount of features. We have the professional mode, the pro mode, which offers manual control, decent set of options, filters, all included, and it's a fairly decent and performing UI for the camera. But the disappointing aspect, or rather the annoying aspect, is the autofocus, which is not really accurate and takes a lot of time to focus, and at times you end up with blurred images. But having said that, the camera performance was pretty good. The overall clarity of the photos along with the colors and the sharpness levels were pretty good for this budget smartphone. While most of the phones are 13 megapixel, Samsung does have this 8 megapixel performing camera, which does work pretty well even with this 8 megapixel sensor. And the close-up shots have also come pretty good on this camera. But the problem with this camera is the low light performance, which was not really that great, and you need a flash which does perform pretty average on this device. So all in all, we would say if you're looking for taking photos in the daylight, this is a pretty good camera. But then if you're looking for a low light experience, this is in the best camera out there in this price point. Now this phone also can record videos in Full HD mode, and again the quality of the video looks decent. But again, the autofocus was the issue on this camera. Now finally, let's talk about the battery performance. So this phone comes with a 2600 mAh battery. That's the same battery which is coming on the J5 as well. Now if you take the battery performance, we have this power saving mode and ultra power saving mode included in this phone. And the performance of the battery was pretty good. Considering that this is a budget smartphone, 2600 mAh capacity is pretty decent, and the performance was pretty good. So we could end up with more than a day of usage on moderate usage, and that is pretty good performance, we would say, in this budget category. So now we have talked about various aspects about this device. So is this device really worth the money? Now there are lots of things which are not really that great on this device. One is the design, second is the display, which is pretty poor, and no protection offered. It's a TFT panel. The software is a decent software, but again the performance was not really that good. So the strong points about this device is that it has Android 5.1.1 Lollipop with a simple and useful UI. There is good camera, 4G LTE support, and also pretty good battery life. Now comparing the competition, that's where the Samsung Galaxy On 5 falls out. The competition offers much better performance, including 2 and 3 gigabyte RAMs are available in this price point. Better display, there are full HD displays even offered on this price point. So in that aspect, when you compare this Samsung Galaxy On 5 with the competition, we would say this isn't really great value for money. But having said that, the Samsung phones are really good known for their after sales service and support, which is much better than a lot of online players which are now operating in this sub 10k price point. So that's a strong point of Samsung. So if you're looking for great after sales warranty, then Samsung Galaxy On 5 does make decent buy. But if you're not really worried about that, now the Samsung branding, you should be definitely looking for better options. So that was a detailed review of the Samsung Galaxy On 5. Hope you liked this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and also subscribe to YouTube channel for more videos. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.